located your third grade art course, you are going to click on the arrow for activities. And at the top of the page, you should see third grade pacing guide. This is what you should be following each week for your assignments. You could see for week 1, you should have already turned in Roll the Dice Moreau. For week 2, you should have already completed Create Organic and Geometric Shapes and Create a Sculpture. For week 3, we are working in Module 5, which is Textures. You are going to be creating texture in the community and creating a background for your artwork. When you scroll down to Lessons, you're going to open up the menu. We are skipping over Module 3 and Module 4. We are going to be working in Module 5, which is Texture. You do not have to complete the pre-test or any tests that are within the unit. Click on 5.01 Texture, and it will take you to your actual lesson. You are going to read through slides 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On slide 6, you will find the art project, which is labeled Studio Time. When you scroll down, this particular project is going to ask you to take your iPad outside and go on a walk in your community, neighborhood, or around your house. You are going to find a location where you would like to do artwork. That means if you could create a mural on the side of a building or on a sidewalk, where would you want your mural to be? You're going to take a picture of that location. That means you're either going to take a picture of the side of a brick wall, or you're going to take a picture of a sidewalk. You're going to print this picture out in black and white, and you are going to draw your artwork on the black and white photograph. So it looks like you are creating artwork on that brick wall, or you are creating your artwork on a sidewalk. Boys and girls, once you have taken a picture of your textured surface, I took a picture of a concrete sidewalk and a brick wall, you are going to print out your picture in black and white. You do not have to do 2 pictures. I'm just doing 2 to show you what it would look like. Once you have printed out your textured surface in black and white, you are going to draw your artwork onto that photograph. I have chosen a picture of a bee holding a flower. I am drawing my picture with a black marker so you can see it better. You do not have to use a black marker. You would probably want to start off drawing it in pencil first. Then you could always go over it with a marker if you would like. So I've drawn the bee onto the concrete surface. I'm also going to draw that same bee onto a brick wall, just so you can see what it would look like. My black marker shows up really well on the black and white photograph. Once you are done drawing your artwork onto the textured surface, you want to color your artwork. Markers seem to show up really well on the black and white photograph. If you do not have markers but you have crayons, they show up well also, as long as you press down hard with the crayon and color dark. Once you have completed Module 5.01 Texture Part A, you are ready to move on to Part B, starting on Slide 7. You are going to read Slide 7, go through Slide 8, Slide 9, Slide 10. Then on Slide 11, you are ready for your next Studio Time art project. This is where you are going to be creating a textured background for your artwork. This is going to be a continuation of what you did for Part A. You can read through the steps on Slide 11 to learn how to make your art project. I did mine a little bit differently in the video. You can start off by answering some questions about what your mural is going to be. Then you are going to cut a piece of cardboard to use to put your artwork on. Paper does not work well for this since you will be gluing onto it. In the video, I use a cereal box that I cut apart for my cardboard, or a piece of an old cardboard box would work fine, or a piece of poster board. For step 3, the program asks you to cut and wad up masking tape to glue onto your cardboard. I did not do this in the video because I did not like the way this surface looked. The program also asks you to paint this with acrylic paint once you're done. Acrylic paint does not wash out of your clothes. So that's why in the video I did 2 different examples. I do an example of how to make one surface look like a brick wall and how to make the other surface look like a concrete sidewalk. For your second art project this week, you are going to be creating a textured background to put your artwork on. For example, you might decide to make your background look like a brick wall or a concrete sidewalk. I'm going to show you an easy way to make a brick wall texture. I have some old cardboard that I have cut bricks out of. For my surface, I'm using a piece of a cereal box that I've cut to about the size of a piece of paper. That way this is thicker and easier to glue on than a piece of paper. I have already pre-cut my bricks and I am ready to glue them onto my piece of cardboard. And I'm going to space the bricks apart so it looks like a real brick wall. So I have one row of bricks with a gap between each brick. And then when I switch down to the second row, I'm going to put these bricks offset so that they're actually centered in the crack between 2 other bricks. And then I have some half pieces cut to go on the ends. For another example of a textured background that you might want to use to put your artwork on would be a concrete sidewalk or a stucco wall. I have cut a piece of poster board, but you could use a piece of cardboard or a cereal box. It would not work very well on a piece of paper since you're going to be using glue. For a concrete sidewalk, I'm going to be gluing sand to my piece of poster board. I'm going to do this by putting glue on the poster board, spreading it around with a paintbrush. If you do not have a paintbrush, you could always just spread it with your finger. So you do not need to go out and buy a paintbrush in order to do this. Take some sand and sprinkle it onto the area that has glue. Then I'm just going to get the extra sand off of my poster board back into the bowl of sand. So you can see that sand is stuck to my poster board. So I'm going to do another section. Put the glue on. If you do not have a paintbrush, you could just spread the glue with your finger. That would work just fine also. Sprinkle some sand onto the glue. And then get the extra sand off of your poster board back into the bowl of sand. Once you have completely filled up your poster board or cardboard with sand, you will need to let it dry overnight. When you have completed drawing your artwork on your black and white photograph, and you have completed creating your textured surface that looks like a brick wall or a concrete driveway, you can take a picture of both of these art projects and submit them under 5.01 texture. The icon that looks like a blank piece of paper is the lesson. Icons that have a check mark are the tests or quizzes. I have not assigned any tests or quizzes. The icon that looks like a piece of paper with a square in the middle is for a project. This is where you can submit your artwork drawn on the black and white photograph and the textured surface that you create. Once you click on 5.01 texture, it will take you to a submission box. In the lower right hand corner of your submission box, you will have a plus sign that you click on. Once you click on this plus sign, it will ask you if you want to upload a file or a photograph. That is where you can add both pictures of your artwork. For next week's art project, you are going to use the textured surface that you create, and you are going to redraw your artwork, but this time instead of on the black and white photograph, you are going to redraw your artwork onto the textured surface. You can submit that artwork under 5.03 project. When you click on the icon that has the square in the middle for the project, this is where you are going to submit your art project for next week. The art project next week will be a continuation of this week's work.